Welcome to the Get Real Podcast, your high-octane boost of full-on reality therapy for personal, business, and investing success with your host, Ron Phillips, because somebody's got to tell it like it is.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Get Real Podcast. Ron Phillips here. Heather Marchant is out this week. She is out in Colorado with the family. And a lot of times from the road, she'll dial in, but she's apparently so far off the trail that she can't dial in this week. So you're stuck with me, but I got a great surprise for you because Caleb Pearson is back. My good buddy, Caleb. Welcome to the show.
Coming off the bench.
That's right, man. That's right. Putting him in, he's going to sink some 3-pointers today for us on the show. Caleb and I were talking last week. If you guys don't remember, it's been a little while since you've been on the show, Caleb. But Caleb is a real estate broker, real estate investor. He wholesales houses. He rehabs houses. He sells more houses. Well, you guys are the number one, right? In South Carolina?
In South Carolina, yep. Retail team.
Yeah, and then there was some other ridiculous one like the whole world. I didn't even know that REMAX was in the whole world, but apparently it is.
Yeah, they're huge in the Caribbean.
Okay. That's right, man. I've seen them down there.
Yeah, and in South America. But I think we finished for medium-sized teams. I don't know how many agents that is in that category, but I think we finished 9th in the world last year.
Insane. It's insane.
So, pretty cool.
Yeah, coming from little old Charleston now.
Yeah.
So anyway, heavy hitter on the show today. Caleb owns rentals, again, wholesales, rehabs. You pretty much name it. Caleb does it. We're partners on some deals and we are good friends. He's sold me my houses and sold my houses here in Charleston. So in the event that you're moving to Charleston, Caleb's your man. He can hook you up.
We got you covered. And I learned a lot. I mean, everything that I know on the rental side, we've learned from you.
Well, I appreciate good, bad, and ugly because we're going to talk about it today. That's the funny thing. It's Caleb and I, we were talking last week about just the madness that is real estate. Because on the show, this is the Get Real show. So today, Caleb and I are going to get real. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. And I do mean the ugly because I know one of the stories Caleb's going to tell, and it had to have been ugly because, well, you'll hear a little bit. We thought it would be cool to just show up and talk about the craziest stuff we've seen in real estate, some of our best deals, our worst deals, just crazy stuff. Maybe cheapest house. I don't know. We'll see where this goes today, but I may have you for cheapest house.
I'm excited to hear your stories too, because I told you a few of mine, but I haven't heard yours.
Yeah, man, this is going to be fun. It's going to be good stuff. So let's start off with craziest stories, Caleb. And doesn't matter whether it's from the retail side, from, wholesale and, whatever. Just what's the craziest stuff you've seen in the real estate space?
So I've got a couple. One time, one of our agents was showing houses and went to go knock on, went through the lockbox, walked in the living room. And I guess the seller had forgot that he had confirmed a showing. There was this man sitting butt naked with candles all around him, Indian style in the living room. I don't know what the guy was doing. So he gets up, takes off, but I think my one of our agents was scarred for life after that one.
Yeah, it might be. Were the buyers there too?
Oh, it was 3. It was husband, wife, and one of our agents.
Lovely. So this happened in our house. It didn't have anything to do with me being in real estate, but very similar. We had an agent and their 2 clients walk into our home. We had a loft, like you walk into the front door, there's a loft. We were sitting up there watching TV as a family with our Doberman, and the door opens. This nice dressed man walks in with this couple into the front room of our house, starts looking around, talking, and my Doberman pops up, looks down there, realizes these people are not family, and they lock eyes with that realtor. And then my dog lets out this ridiculous bark. And my dog was super nice, but my dog looked like it would kill you.
Oh, that dog looks scary.
Yeah. Starts running down the stairs. I never seen anybody run out of a house faster than that. And I went down there to find out what was going on. They thought my house was the model home in the subdivision. So they just walked in. It just walked into my house. Crazy. At least we weren't naked doing anything naughty.
It's funny you say that because that happens more often than you think. I've had agents call me on some of our listings and they're asking, where's the fourth bedroom? And I'm telling them, go up the steps, turn left. And they're like, there's no stairs. There's no second floor. I'm like, you're in the wrong house. They're in like the next door neighbor's house. That's happened more than, I would say, 2 to 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
Where people have left like lock boxes on the front doors. So they just assume, and you know, they're all electronic and they work from an app. So you get into anyone across town.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. So craziest stuff, man. I've got another one because I wasn't even planning on telling you that one. That just popped in my head when naked that dude was sitting cross-legged. At least we weren't naked, Caleb. It could have been worse.
With candle.
So my brother and I owned a house on Kensington in Kansas City. And the people who were there renting it, we got stuck with this house and they were renting it. They had gotten their electricity turned off. And then they went and reattached it themselves. So then the city cut it off at the pole, like at the street, cut it off. And we got notified at that point. So we went over there, and mail's slow. So by the time we got over there, they hadn't had power for quite a while.
Yeah.
Well, the dude was so proud of himself. In Kansas City, they have these gravity furnaces. So what he did was he built a little like fireplace underneath the gravity furnace, and he was heating the house with fire from the downstairs. So I don't even know how they were living in there because the smoke was going up through. So he had completely smoke damaged the house. He's such an idiot. So the utilities were off and he used the main stack as his heating element for the house. He just lit a fire in the basement.
People are pretty resourceful. Remember the 12 unit that we bought together, and all of them, there was one person out of 12 units paying cable, and they had split it to where all through the out back windows.
Yep.
And the first thing we did when we closed was we told our contractor to go in and snip the wire, and people just came out like cockroaches.
Yep.
Because everybody was there all day long watching TV.
Yep. It looked like a favela in Brazil, man. It was crazy. Oh my gosh. People are very, very resourceful.
Dude, just in the last 6 months, we bought a house and it burned down the next day.
Whoa.
Completely burnt down. We've had a water heater fall through the ceiling on a tenant in their sleep. Allegedly. Allegedly. I'm trying to think what else. We've had a homeless person found in one of our triplexes dead that had been squatting in a triplex that we hadn't got to renovate yet. That's just all in the last 6 months.
Yeah, so we just had a squatter situation. Not me, but my friend. I was helping him in downtown Charleston. People were supposed to be buying the house. They didn't close and they didn't leave. They just squatting. Crazy people. I don't understand the mentality of people like that, but it happens, man. It happens.
My buddy has an Airbnb, and this lady scheduled a booking, moved in, didn't leave, and he went to the door and she goes, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have any money and I'm going to be here for the next 60 days. And you're going to just have to figure it out. But after 60, she said, in 60 days, I'll be out of here. But I mean, you can try to evict me.
Yeah. And I guess the short-term rental laws have not caught up to that anyway, have they?
I don't know. And I don't know which state this one's in either. As you know, eviction laws are state to state.
California, she could have said 6 months. So
yeah, Illinois too.
Man, now I'm going to do some research on that because that could be the next great big scam. You get somebody move in and they don't move out, And if you're in one of the states where you can just stay there indefinitely, because like if it's a hotel, the police will come kick you out. But I don't know what the heck happens with a short-term rental. I don't know what laws that falls under.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one either.
I'm going to find out. I will let everybody know as soon as I find out about that. My gosh, that's crazy.
Another good one.
Go ahead.
One of our buddies who owns thousands of units, he had contractors replace all the doors on all, call it 120 units, but they put the pin on the outside instead of on the inside. So someone just went around and took a hammer and went and tapped all the doors, opened them all up and went inside. And I don't know how much damage they did, but I do know they were taking doors off the hinges.
So Caleb, I went to do due diligence on an apartment complex with another partner of mine. And we were inside. These places were pretty hammered. We knew we were it was like $1.5 million worth of work that we knew we had to do. And we got into one of the units and there was people living there. We asked if we could go into this bedroom to take a look because we were doing a walkthrough. And she's like, yeah, you don't want to go in there. And I said, well, why not? She goes, well, there's a raccoon in there, fell through the ceiling and hit my daughter. And my partner, he goes, well, when did that happen? She said, 2 months ago. I said, well, and he was like, well, they didn't fix it? Then the daughter comes out and recounts the story of this raccoon falling on her. And I said, well, we said, well, we'll brave it. Do you mind if we go in there? And she goes, no, I don't care. I said, you guys haven't been in here for 2 months? No, we just shut the door because the maintenance people haven't come to fix it. So we walk in and no crap, the bed, it was right below this big, huge hole in the drywall pieces all over the place. And it's wet because you look up, there's a giant hole in the roof where the raccoon came in in the first place. And the reason it fell through is because it had rained in there and gotten wet.
Did he get out?
He got out. He wasn't in there. So I don't know how he got out, but he got out somehow. They're also resourceful. We didn't buy that part. We tried to retrade the guy and he wouldn't deal. So, oh my gosh. And the maintenance guy was with us on the walkthrough and was just like, yeah, man, we're definitely going to fix it. And I'm like, dude, it's been 2 months.
Yeah.
There's a hole in the roof.
Is passive. Completely passive.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no work, no headaches.
All right, man, let's do cheapest house. And I think I've got you on this one because you live in Charleston and I was flipping houses in Kansas City. So this is going to be an easy win for me, I think. Go.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one that doesn't buy in one city.
Oh, damn. Okay. So what you got?
Alabama, Birmingham, $7,500 brick house.
Oh, I beat you, dude. Mine's $7,000.
$7,000. And I bought it off Facebook. So I told Ashley, I said, I got this deal on Facebook, brick house down in Birmingham, and I'm buying it. She goes, you don't know anything about Birmingham, and no, you're not buying it. I said, yes, I am. I've already signed the contract. So we wired it, bought it, threw it back on the market, just bought and threw it on MLS and sold it for like 30.
Yeah, I sold mine for 24.5, but that was after I tried to rehab it. It was like so in a war zone. It's not even funny where this was. And my contractors went in to start to rehab it. They left their tools in there, which I told them not to do. And so somebody kicked in the front door, stole all their tools, cut all the walls open, took all the copper out. Like everything that they wanted, they took out of that house. So we boarded it up and we tried one more time and then they did it again. They took the cabinets out. They took all the stuff we'd put in out. Then we boarded it up and I put it on the MLS and sold it for 24.5.
Right. You still made money.
Yeah, a little bit because my contractor didn't eat any of that money. That was all of ours. So it was my brother and I did that deal. It was on Indiana and Kansas City.
Isn't it the worst when you're renovating in war zones? We did an 8-unit apartment. And as we were doing them, everything was getting stolen out of them. So what we had to do was we had to board up 7 units, do 1 unit and show it and fill it. And then unboard the second unit, renovate it, fill it. And we did it. We boarded windows and doors all the way down the complex. And it was the only way to fill it.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I mean, people steal appliances, copper, AC units.
But the cool thing is, once you get it done, the whole thing is cleaned up. Everybody watches out for each other and all of that element goes away. But until you clean it up, it's no holds barred.
No. And that's why it's important when you buy in those war zones to kind of like look at what's around it. As you know, like you could see all these guys sitting on 5-gallon buckets right out the front door, right across the street. And there were 15 of them. And they have nothing better to do than go in there and steal all the crap out of the houses as soon as your contractor hops in the car and drives off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they need the money. Been sitting around all day.
Okay.
So let's talk about best and worst deals. And you know, dealer's choice. You start. Best or worst, doesn't matter.
Worst deal. I mean, if you've been doing it long enough, you're going to have deals where you lose money and you write checks to get out of them. Knock on wood, I think our biggest loss has only been about $100,000 on one deal. It was just a bad flip.
That's enough.
Yeah, I mean, the town got involved. Just they delayed everything while you got hard money and you're basically rebuilding an old historic home, and it cost twice as much as we thought it was going to cost, and it took 10 times the effort and the stress that most of our deals take, and we write a check to sell it. So, I mean, that was an expensive lesson. But, I mean, that's, knock on wood, that's been the worst so far.
Yes, my worst deal was actually a syndication deal. And it was because of the management company. It was a new construction deal, so it should have been awesome. But what ended up happening was the builder was allowing us to fill it, and he was kind of watching the management company. I should have been watching the management company, but they leased up tons of units for way under market. So by the time we were going to get filled, there was not going to be enough money to cover pref, make any money. It was going to take us years to increase the rents back up to where they should be so that we could actually make some money. And in the meantime, we were just going to be burning money. So I ended up punting on that deal and selling it. And the good news is I was able to negotiate with the builder and, of course, myself. And we lost a lot of money. Hundreds of thousands, but we got out of it and all of our investors got their money back and their returns. But that was the worst deal personally for me. You got to have your eyeballs on those management companies, man. They'll make or break you. They'll kill your deal, or they'll make it like we know on our duplexes that we just bought. I mean, those guys are making that deal happen. It's just amazing to watch them. I wish you could just like take good property managers and clone them around the world. Like just
they're not all the same. Not even close. I mean, it's incredible how like those guys are rocking up in Gaffney.
You know, people think big markets, it's better. That market is a tiny little market and those guys are roping it. And it's not just because the market has enough tenants. They're literally rock stars. They're great on the renovations that need to be done. They get it handled fast. Their communication is unbelievable. And they communicate how we communicate. They communicate via text. They know we're going to communicate via text, so they hit us with a text, ask us the questions. It's so much better that way.
And it's like weekly updates. I mean, unless you require it out of most property management, you get it, once a month? But they're almost weekly hitting us with questions, updates on apps coming in, waiting list, new pricing. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been great. Hey, going back to your bad deal, did all your investors know, even though you made them whole, did they know y'all wrote big checks to get out of that thing and it was a dud?
Nobody knew.
Okay. I was just curious if you knew.
Nobody knew.
Or you told them.
Nobody knew. I've had other deals where we've gotten out of deals and they've made money where they knew that I didn't make what I should have made, but it sucks when that happens, but the most important thing is to get your investors their money back and get them their return, because you can live to fight another day. You screw your investors over, you don't live to fight another day. You can't do any more deals. You pissed off your investors.
They don't come back. That's for sure.
No, you got to get a whole new crop. It's easier to retain the ones you've got than to go get new ones. So
it's crazy how once you do one or two deals with investors, then they roll to the next deal, and then they magically find this extra couple $100,000 that you didn't know they had as they go bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep. That's exactly how it works. And in every one of those scenarios, I didn't lose investors. Like, they rolled with me to the next one, because I think the most important, as I'm an investor now that way, and I invest in deals, the most important thing to me is return of capital and what you're doing to protect my capital. And we've always got, 2 or 3 different ways we can get exit a deal. If it starts to not work the way we thought it was going to work, we can get out. And I can always get them their money back plus their return. And if if I eat it, then I eat it, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's do best deals, man, because that's way more fun than worst deals.
Was your best deal the one you just did?
It is. That is the best deal. And I've already talked about it on the podcast, but I'm happy to talk about it again because it's that good. It makes me smile every time I talk about that. That was such a winner of a deal, man. Yeah. So anybody who hasn't listened to the podcast in like the last 2 months, we bought a commercial property that had a long-term lease and the people had already moved out. And we negotiated a buyout for them on their lease that is almost what we paid for the building. So we net bought this, 27,000 square foot office building for no money. It's unbelievable. I was just talking to somebody the other day. Can't remember who it was. I was talking to somebody the other day about hitting singles.
Yeah.
Swinging, hitting singles, trying to get on base. And occasionally the pitch comes in just right. The swing feels perfect. Connection is amazing. And that sucker's going over the fence. And then you look up and you realize, the bases are loaded.
Yeah.
That is what just happened.
That's how that deal felt.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah. And think about how many deals you've done over your career.
Yeah.
And you did that deal in a market where people are saying deals are not quite back and people are overpaying for stuff. So the market's gotten squeezed so tight. But you also took the step and swung the bat.
Yeah. And I tried to kill that deal every single way there was to kill it. And then finally, when there was no way to kill it anymore, I'm like, well, all right, I guess it's a good deal. Right. I still didn't think it was going to be that good. But I thought, this is a good deal. We'll do it. And then it turned into unbelievable deal. And that stuff, I find when we talk about stuff like this, Caleb, people hear this stuff, they're like, wow. But to your point, this is years and years and years. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. And I had one grand slam home run. Everything else has been, base hits, doubles. They all stack up.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any that good. I've got some good ones. I'll tell you, this is a little nugget. Started reaching out to property managers probably 6 years ago. Think about a property manager. They manage 300, 600,000 doors in some markets. They know all the landlords in town. And our avatar has been pretty much all the deals, the multifamily deals we bought have been mostly from just tired elderly landlords that are just ready to get out of the business. So I just went around to all the property managers and said, who do you own that owns a portfolio, multiple houses that is getting towards the end of the career? And one lady said, well, my biggest client just passed away and left his kids these houses and they didn't want anything to do with it. So it was I think it was 35 doors and 15 of them were like duplexes, triplexes. One of them was a 7-plex in Park Circle, which was a pretty popular neighborhood.
Oh, so, yeah. Jeez. Home run.
We offered them tax value for every house and they took it. So I sold off all the single family in the portfolio and it paid the entire purchase price. So I kept all of the 2 doors, 3 doors. I kept all the multifamily in the whole portfolio. So I got 15 doors paid off free and clear.
Dude, that's silly good. What are you talking about?
It was a good deal.
That's awesome.
I haven't done it anywhere close to that good.
I remember when you were telling me about that deal and I was like, man, that is such common sense to just go ask the management companies.
Yeah.
And yet, how many people do that?
Not many.
Not many.
She made a commission and she was an agent, so she was happy as pig in the mud.
Yeah. Did she keep the management or did you move management?
No, she kept the management.
Yeah. So she made a commission and she kept management. Because otherwise they would have sold them and she would have lost the management too.
Yes. Then we took great care of her for years until she got out of the business.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Was that that was our mutual property manager for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
I was sad that she got out of the business. She was really good. She was like the guys up in Gaffney. Speaking
she
of
was
which,
on it.
that should make the list. I mean, that is an unbelievably great deal.
The one in Gaffney?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one for everybody. He wanted the money to put in self-storage quick. And we're always looking to buy.
Yep.
And the number he sold it to us at a fantastic number. He just never raised rents on those guys. We took them from $900 to $1,350 a year.
He had rents in there at under 600, some of them.
Yeah.
He had them from 600 to like 750. Then we moved them to 9 when we bought it. And then the ones we're renovating and turning are going to 1350, which, I mean, it almost double.
Yeah. And renovating might be a stretch. Like we're putting in flooring and touch up paint. That's
flooring
it.
And paint.
Yeah. We're not changing countertops, appliances, fixtures, bathrooms, nothing.
So Caleb, we've given everybody on the show like one pretty no-brainer, like Captain Obvious way to go find properties, which is property management companies. Other than that, like if you're just a person out there listening to this show who wants to start hitting singles, what do you suggest people do?
In the single family market or commercial?
Whatever market.
I mean, real estate agents can be your biggest friends on the residential side. And they don't want to list houses that are all beat up, that are in distress. They'd rather just, if you can come in and buy them and they can get both sides of the commission, they'll do that all day long. That means less work for them. Real estate agents as a whole are pretty lazy.
Yep. And you gave a really solid piece of advice to some folks. It was in one of the masterminds we're both in, but somebody was calling or mailing or texting some of the agents in their community, but they were only going after the big hitters. And you said, man, no, go after because the ones who sell like 3 a year, it's like an extra deal.
Yeah.
And they're thrilled. They're getting both sides of a deal. That's huge to them. It almost doubles their income.
And the big guys buying themselves, or they already have investors. I mean, if someone's doing a couple hundred deals a year, they've got somebody with if they find a good deal, they can spin it off to it, have it sold by dinner.
Right.
But the newbies or the people that do a few deals a year, I mean, they can just trip and fall and stumble into a deal, and they don't know what to do with those beat up houses, and you make their life easy.
Uncle Pete, I was just talking to somebody the other day about realtors and, the new ones that get into the business because Aunt Jane is selling her house. So they decided to go get their license and list Aunt Jane's house. And that's the only house they sell that year. Might stumble into another one, is what you're saying. And then,
that's right.
If they can get an easy deal like Aunt Jane's, well, shoot, I mean, why wouldn't they do that deal, right?
That's exactly right. And how nice of Aunt Jane to sell her biggest asset with someone who just got
who has no idea what they're doing. It boggles my mind all the time. And the people who they take, Realtor Bob, who just sold Aunt Jane's house, and they go, well, I don't feel like I should have to pay a realtor when all they do is what, Realtor Bob did. Well, okay, I think we're comparing Realtor Bob maybe to all realtors, and we shouldn't be. There's a top 5%, which are the only ones you should want to work with. And everybody just lumps them all. They're like, I'm just going to sell it myself. What do? Throw a sign in the yard? Well, some of them. Yeah. Well, if we're being fair, the majority of them, Caleb, they chuck a sign in the yard and that's kind of it.
That's it. Man, it's funny. I used to cold call when I got started. I just cold called all day long when I wasn't running appointments. And I can't tell you how many times people said, I hate realtors. I'll never work with a realtor. I hate real estate agents. I mean, they just had a bad realtor previously and they had a bad experience. But I always ask them, like, you ever been to a restaurant and had a bad meal? Did you stop going out to eat? No.
I mean, I tell people all the time, like, a good realtor who understands your market is worth their weight in gold. And I've said it on the show before. I'll say it again. Every single time I've bought and every single time I've sold my own personal residence, I am a broker in multiple states. I do not list for sale, nor do I buy houses for myself by myself. I don't do it because it's not my business. I don't know it that well. I know real estate really well. Could I negotiate a deal by myself? Yes. Do I know the local market as well as somebody who's in the top 5% of realtors in the market? No, I do not. And do I know how to sell what's working in the market right now? No, I do not. How much is that
because
worth?
It changes. It changes like every month.
And it's worth, I mean, on our last deal that we did together, it was worth $400,000. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I appreciate it.
On both of them.
Well, I'm not counting the other one. I'm just the last one you sold.
The house you bought. The house you bought was.
We don't need to say how much that was, but that
was a smoking deal.
That is an unbelievable deal. It really is. I pinched myself that deal even happened. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
That's another nugget. It's like swing the bat, because a lot of people wouldn't have put in that offer that we put in. And you just never know when somebody's going to come back.
Yeah, they were just tired.
Yeah, without throwing the numbers out there, we offered a lot less on your house as almost a joke. And they came back.
It was an embarrassing offer. And let that be a lesson to you. If your offer is not embarrassing, if you're not a little bit embarrassed to put it in, it's not low enough.
Yeah. And if they take it immediately, you definitely didn't offer.
That's right. Enough. I'm just glad that they countered a little.
But yeah. I think you might have come up came up 10 grand or something like that. But the amount they came down was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
That's how we bought that house at Edisto. It was listed beachfront house for $889 and Justin offered $650 on it.
Yeah, just why not?
And they counted at $695 and I said, Justin, go up like $7 grand just to show we're not really moving, and they took it.
Unbelievable.
You never know someone's motivation, or sometimes people are just done with properties and ready to roll.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the people that I bought from were happy to be rid of the house. They downsized, they moved into a house and they bought a renovation themselves. So, and she's a realtor. That's the crazy thing. She's a realtor. She knows or should know what the value of the house is, but I don't think they could get it where they needed to get it to extract all of the money from the house that they could. They did the best they could. Yeah. And they made out great. You and I both know what they paid for the house. So they made out really, really good on the house too. So everybody won in that scenario. I still pinch myself a little bit.
That was a good one. But she was an agent.
Yep.
That just shows you she was an agent. I have, there's a couple people that have their license here in Charleston and they don't even list their stuff. They call me to list their stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but there's a difference in someone that's doing the amount of transactions we are and seeing the market every day versus someone that does.
It would be weird if you said it, but I can say it. Caleb Pearson Team rocks. If you're buying or selling in Charleston, you should call the team over there.
We appreciate it.
Caleb, I appreciate it, buddy. This has been fun. I hope everybody out there enjoyed it. Caleb and I just sitting here telling stories. Anyway, I think the moral of the story today is that no matter what you're planning on doing, the idea is to get out there and actually do it.
Swing the bat.
Swing the bat. Swing the bat. All right, everybody. Till next week, get out there, make something happen.
This has been the Get Real Podcast. To subscribe and for more information, including a list of all episodes, go to getrealestatesuccess.com.